Hello, good. What day is it? Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Carstensen Team Remax results. We are back live. We haven't been live since I believe the end of August, so we're finally bored enough to do a live broadcast. Is that what's going on?
It's been since August. Wow.
Has it been? I've been hounding you to do them. I thought, no, we did in September before I left on vacation, I thought.
Oh, maybe it was September. Maybe I got the wrong number on our episodes. We'll find out later. It's either episode 23 or 24 of what's happening in Minnesota real estate. I tried to do well research, but it was so long that I don't know if I have the episode number right. If you're tracking along at home and I have it wrong, you could certainly tell me. I marked it as episode number 23. And since we give everybody about 20 minutes notice for this, I don't know who's going to join us live. Michelle joined us.
Even us.
Michelle joined us 2 seconds before we started the broadcast. Stacy joined me 2 minutes before. So we're ready to go. Michelle has no clue what we're talking about. So we're going to put her on the spot right away and really see what she's got, see what's happening. Before we do that, let's just general round robin, like what has been happening. What do you want to tell people about since your last broadcast here that our faithful followers, which are in the 40 to 80, not thousand, that listen to this might want to hear.
Well, I just want to point out that Michaela just called me about 3 minutes ago. Am I supposed to be on this live?
She doesn't have to be if she's
not going to be. She hasn't got good range.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. What has happened since September? That's a good question. The Christmas tree's up.
It is?
Oh, yes. My Christmas tree in both houses are up. In real estate, though, the prices are still pretty stable, but just not a lot of houses on the market. Slim to none. Kind of the same trend as before, but maybe less buyers, probably.
I would agree. Maybe if you're competing in multiple offers, it's against like 2 other people. So like 3 offers total instead of like 15 to 10 before. So you have a better opportunity to get the house than like this summer and spring. But I agree.
I think that I'm a highly functioning real estate-aholic because when I was so busy, literally working hours and hours a day, I was like, boom, 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 boom. And now when I'm not as busy, and anyone's lying if they say they're super busy. Any realtors
could be super busy.
Okay.
So there could be like 2 people.
Okay, 2 people. I feel like I'm like, what do I do today? I'm just being real.
That's true. Chuck and I were talking about that yesterday, and Eric was asking me like, oh, what do you got planned today? And I was like, well, I don't have any appointments yet, so I'm just gonna work on the new CRM that we're working on, and I don't know. I need to get my oil changed today, so I'm gonna go do that at some point.
We need to do a live broadcast now.
You guys want to do a live broadcast today in 10 minutes? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. Okay. I was like, I had just gotten home from the gym a little before that. I was like, I got a shower.
Here's how I would summarize it. I would say since, I don't know, February, March, super duper crazy, like barely, at least for me, barely could breathe, like just no, like not even coming up for air. And then September and October, we had pretty good, decent, solid months, so nothing wrong, probably very similar to last year. But I was just starting to get like overwhelmed with all the tasks we have to do to stay in touch with people. And then Stacy mentioned switching over our database, and some people that are watching this live or recording or listening to the podcast are like, yeah, I've gotten some emails or whatever from you. If you're a past client or we've been working with you, you've probably gotten some sort of email on, hey, we got this new database, new website, a lot easier to search. And long story short, there she is, the token Michelle.
I turned it down. It wouldn't go. I wanted to see who was watching us. People are watching.
So anyway, I was just overwhelmed with like, I can't keep up anymore with all these tasks. So we switched our database. So some of you have got an email, and whenever you do something new technology, you might have got 2 emails from us. You might be like,
or 12.
Doing this. Hopefully not 12.
I'm just kidding.
2 for sure.
We're working out the glitches, but it's not too glitchy. It's pretty good. And yes, I just, as of, what did I say? Monday, like got through everything, pretty much setting almost everybody up on some sort of follow-up plan. And I was like, oh, I can breathe. So I think I breathed yesterday and I'm breathing today. Like not, you know what I mean? Like, like you were saying, like, well, what I'm going to do now. It's today. I was like, I don't like to be bored, obviously. So, hey, let's do a live broadcast.
Well, I'm not bored because I don't have all my contacts in, but I only have honestly 250 contacts. You had 12,000 or whatever.
It's not that much, but
no,
yeah, so
but
that's
I
what
mean,
we're working on.
I know why transferring. You had everybody to transfer, all of us. So,
and the other thing, in September, I started coaching my son's 4th grader Lucas's fall basketball team, and now we're starting the winter basketball season. Fall was 1 practice a week and a couple games on Sundays. Now the winter season's 2 practices a week and a bunch of tournaments over the next. So we got 2 this month, 2 next month. So from now through the first weekend in March, pretty much at least half the weekends, probably slightly more, we have a basketball tournament on Saturday. So that consumes some of my time and probably help with a little bit of how can I breathe. And then once or twice a month, I'm preaching or pastoring or whatever you would call it at St. Andrew's Church in East Bethel. So I speak this Sunday and I write up an outline, put it together. Then I don't want to totally suck. So I practice it. And then when I practice it, it does totally suck. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. So then I practice it some more. And then my Sunday, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an amazing preacher.
So are you filling in or why are you doing that?
A few months ago, their pastor resigned and it's a smaller church. So there's, they just needed people to keep it going. So Cambridge Lutheran, our church, has people like me, and a couple pastors, and then a pastor who's not a pastor. So we have enough people to fill in every week with a speaker and and music. So we're helping.
They don't write it for you.
What's that?
So they don't write it for you.
No, it's got to come from you.
I did that once in my life. I filled in for the pastor in Browerville, Minnesota, one time about 20 some years ago. It wasn't that bad.
I'd fill in. I just want someone else to write it for me.
That's not gonna be good. Yeah, I'm still not getting all the things you do in church. They're making it a little more. I don't know what the right word is, and not so regimented. But when I have to do the things that you do during church, I still get a little bit oh no, I have to do that. I'm not oh no, I have to do this. Oh, what do you do next? And this is weird. Where the preachers go up there and just do it, and I'm like,
it's natural.
May you be blessed. No, what? No, I don't do it that bad. I'm just kidding.
So you're really selling it for people to come and listen to you preach, Chuck.
I don't. I do totally fine, but it's just in the moment. I'm like, oh, is this going well? And then if you've missed something, you just go back and do it. Nobody really. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody knows because pretty much everybody there knows what should be said because they're like the regulars. But they're pretty cool about it. They don't work me over if I screw up.
It's funny.
They're still inviting you back, so you're doing a good job.
And there's other stuff that keeps me busy. So that's still ongoing, plus all the real estate stuff. So definitely that's a little more than a lot of people have on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've been actually working out now. So instead of just being present, not even present. Sometimes you're oh, I'm working out, but you're somewhere off in some other land and going through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually working out. So back in May, I set a goal to lose 15 pounds, right? I'm now down 17 pounds.
Nice.
And I was looking at myself in this camera and I'm like, God, I look skinnier. So
nice. Good job.
That's what I learned. Instead of just kind of going through the motions, I'm actually not going through the motions.
You're actually doing it. You're shutting everything else off that's going on around you and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So a question, not that anybody's going to answer this, but you might. So obviously Lucas is a 4th grader. Like I said, I'm coaching his basketball team. One of the things, I went to a coaching clinic and they said do functional fitness. So about 10 minutes to start the practice, we actually do like lunges and squats and rear deadlift balances, lateral hops, some of those kind of things. And then I give them a tracking sheet to go home and do it. Now, some of the kids are doing it, some are not. I didn't say it's mandatory. I just said it's suggested. And if you do it, you bring it back and we'll give you like a prize, like I gave out Gatorades last practice.
Do you think some are actually doing it though, or are they just signing that they're doing it like I did in band class like 20 years?
I'm guessing some are doing it, some are pretending to do it, and some are not doing it. Here's the deal with that. By the end of the season, or probably in a month, I'll know who's actually doing it.
Oh yeah.
How strong they get, or if they don't get stronger. So band, I'm sure the same thing. You could tell if somebody's practicing.
That's why I was the worst one. Yep.
And I'm not saying my players. I should say my players are doing really well for not having played before. We've got a nice mix of players, but what I'm saying is, if you can see if they don't do it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up is Lucas. Out of all that, I'm the coach, so I'm like, you're doing this.
Lucas has been doing.
And then we do it, and he's like battling me. And when we're done, he's like out of there. And then the last time he actually said, "Hey, when are we going to do this?" So we'll find out how it goes today. At practice last night, he was like leading the charge, so he's ready for it. But going to your fitness point, it's interesting. I put that in because I wanted them to learn at a young age, doing some fitness, tracking it. I don't want them to hate it though, so I'm not like making them do it. He's got to read 20 minutes a day, and if I forget, he's not just voluntary reading. If I tell him, he does this, I have to read. Like that's basically what he does. So does anybody else remember, or if you have a fourth grader, do they all do that, or is it just my kid?
I did that as a fourth grader. Yeah.
You did?
I didn't.
Stacey, you have kids that are what? What's your youngest kids?
5th grade.
And did they do something like that when it's like homework time?
Well, not like, so my 6th grader and my 11th grader, they don't like to read. Obviously in high school, they still want you to read, but it's not like required. Same with like middle school. Obviously they encourage it, but not like elementary school where they kind of track it, So like to get the 6th grader, no, she won't do it. I'm like, well, why don't you read this? Nope, I hate it. I ain't reading nothing. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know. There comes a point where like you just, I don't fight with them as much as maybe some people do. Like, it's not conducive learning. They're not going to learn anything if I'm literally forcing them to do it.
Well, isn't it though? Like, okay, so like say our grandma reads books all the time. If we give her a book, she'll just read it, right? I'm a big like book listener, but I don't like to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like, so when I know people that like to read and I'm like, oh, how about this book? They don't want to read the book I suggest. They want to read their own books. So I don't know. It's kind of like, because we suggested they don't want to read it.
Yep. So. I know what you mean. I said, well, and what I said too, like I did not like to read as a child. I hated it. Like probably until I was in my 30s, I didn't read. Like I didn't enjoy it. And then I found some books that I enjoyed reading. And then, you kind of get addicted to reading for a while and you'd read. And if your kids see you doing it, they're more apt to do it, just like exercise. So like, obviously, like I exercise on a regular basis. Like my teenager, she exercises pretty regularly as well. And then my 6th and 5th grader, they're both in sports and stuff like that. Taylor would come on runs with me this summer, and she's got like legs like a gazelle, so she can go
like Samantha.
She's got her legs are the same length as mine, and she's 12. Like, I'm like, okay. So, I mean, like kids mimic what they see. So I don't know. Force it to.
I must do this a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I get that too, but I don't know. Kids always do the opposite if they're forced to do something. So if you tell a kid not to be friends with a kid because they're a bad influence, what are they going to do? They're going to be friends with that kid because you told them not to. So choose your words.
I noticed that though too. There's a couple of my friends that, like I said, I'm finally getting to where I wanted to get in my health wise, and they're all starting to work out now too. They're like, oh, I should do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's got to be
takes a while,
there.
though.
It's hard when it's not their choice. Probably nobody in fourth grade wants to do a fitness regimen.
No.
The reason I'm doing it, there's only so many nowadays. Not everybody has a hoop. Not everybody has, a place to do basketball things. But you can feel like you're getting a gain and doing something by doing a little bit of fitness.
Yeah.
And there is times where it's downtime where, okay, we don't, a few days off for practice or over Christmas holidays. It gives them something they already know to do then. So, and basically, like I said, I went to a clinic and the guy who coaches some, big time youth players, like, this is what we do. So it's like, if he does it, I should do it. That'd be a good way to get them focused.
Chuck, if you made it a competition where they're competing against one another, especially boys, I don't know if they're pretty competitive, but make it competitive so that maybe they'll all want to do it so they know there's something.
Yeah, that's the point. I want to get them up to speed. And at that coaching clinic, they said you should almost make every drill competitive because then they go harder. Fourth grade, when they haven't played most of them, it's just like getting them to understand. If I make it super competitive, I have like the 4 kids that basically think it's football. It's like at the right time to make it competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and then you also have the kids on the team that are just not going to be able to compete, so then they're going to feel bad if it's like something they can't do.
Yes. There's the at that age level especially, there's the big deviation. Even in high school there's deviations. There's the kids that don't play, kids that play some, and then the main players. You have that now, but at this age, they all put them all out there. They all play. It's not like, you're on the bench, you're not.
Well, and I do remember like 3rd, 4th grade going up. And of course, we were a small town, but I remember it was like, we're going to move these kids up to 6th grade. And then they quit by 8th grade anyways. And I played the whole time. So you just never know, especially at a high school that's not like gigantic. I mean, it's pretty big. Who's going to stick around? So you can't like disinclude like the kids that just because they didn't know how to play. I mean, AJ, my son didn't play football till 8th grade and he was an all-state football player. So it's like, you never know. You never know who's going to shoot up and grow or get really fast.
Yeah.
You just never know.
The main point now is to have a little fun, obviously teach them and coach them to get them better and to keep them around so they don't quit before they actually hit their stride.
And you don't want them to hate it.
Yeah.
So don't yell at them, Chuck.
Yeah,
I'm getting better at that. I've yelled at Lucas a couple times. But
well, that's different. I used to yell at AJ all the time, but
that's funny. That's why I could never coach. I couldn't be a coach. Nope. I'll leave that.
I loved it. I just don't know if the kids loved when I coached them because I was very hard on my own kids. But I don't know. How come the words go across your faces? Dad asked. I don't know what he's talking about.
Is he talking about
because on what is it called when you're watching TV and you have every word we say go across?
Closed captioning.
He's got it on closed captioning, Dad.
That's
you
funny.
Can turn that off, but I don't know how to tell you to turn it off. So just listen.
That's really funny.
I wanted to say something I was going to post on social media later, but it's so funny. AJ and I were talking about, I know, Dad, a quote that Michael Bernoff talks about, this guy, our coach, we can call him our coach. I think it's what's the first one? Call to Action by Marianne Williamson. I used to read it to the kids every day when they went to school, and AJ had to go apply for some extra job at his job. And he didn't get the email of how the interview was going to go. So he had to totally wing it. And he brought up this quote, and I'll just read the first part about it. I just wanted to talk about this because it's so weird today. It starts like, Chuck knows this, Stacey probably heard it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Now, it keeps going on. But AJ had brought that up last week, and for some reason, I looked up what the whole quote was last night because I can't remember, and then I looked it up again this morning. And I started my workout this morning, and she always goes through affirmations. And she basically said this quote. That was the first thing she said. And I had just looked it up. I was like, the weirdest thing. And it kind of made sense with what you're talking about, Chuck, is that you're talking about preaching and, I don't know how good I'm doing or whatnot, and coaching. And even in real estate, it's not that we know what to do. It's always how much better can we get and how much better can we make these kids better just by little things. So I wanted to bring that up because I had saw that today, and it was just weird how like the world sends the same thing all at one time, and you're like, wow, I'm supposed to be paying attention here. If I hear it like 3 times in 1 week, I'm probably supposed to pay attention. But I know we've been talking a lot about, I don't know, we're not like really bored, but we're just not,
on
going,
appointments.
Yeah, we're
running around
with our heads cut off.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool to bring up because, how you're talking about all those things. Like, you've been talking about preaching and stuff too, Chuck. And it's like, that's awesome that you're like doing these extra things and being able to coach and stuff. Like, the world's giving you an opportunity to do that because you're going to be fine in real estate and help everyone too. So, that's cool.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So we will now talk about real estate. Maybe people like this conversation more. This is like, if you've ever listened to a radio talk show, say a sports show or whatever show, they have the banter first, and then they talk a little bit about sports or whatever. Part of it is like getting to know the people on the show and like, oh, those people, I like those people, or I like listen to them, or oh, now I know them a little bit more. So there you go. You know us a little bit more than you have before. Except my dad, unless he learned something too.
At least Dad's watching.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Is your dad watching, Stacy?
I don't see him. Probably not. Let's be honest.
Do you even tell him you're in real estate?
No, I don't think he knows. I'm just kidding. Yes, he knows that. He's not really on Facebook. I mean, he is, but he's not.
It's on YouTube too. There's also simulcast on YouTube.
I'll tell him to check out Instagram too.
It's not on Instagram.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean, that's what we can kind of start off with. I had a conversation yesterday about stock market, real estate stocks. And then I keep seeing all these messages about Zillow. I'm probably not going to talk much about what Zillow is doing, besides the world knows that they're not buying houses anymore. And I was talking to Chuck yesterday, and I was like, when I bought my house, my last house, it said a certain price, and now it's $100,000 higher than that in Florida. And he goes, oh, so now you're following what Zillow says. And I'm like, I mean, yes and no. I mean, Zillow's not super inaccurate with what they get off of what the neighborhood is. But how can we help people understand what's going on with Zillow? So that's something we could talk about.
I like it. I like it. Let's go right there. I did not put that in the show notes, but let's go right there. Here's my explanation of Zillow. So some of you know, not everybody knows this. They were an iBuyer. Doing the quote things. iBuyer, if you're not.
What does an iBuyer mean, Chuck?
iBuyer means somebody that you're not listing it and selling it. They're using technology to decide here's the price. They did have somebody come and look at it, and they downgrade your house or come back and say it needs repairs and lower the price. But basically, you're cutting out the listing, going right to them. They are an investor buyer through the online portal, and they're buying houses for would have been a year and a half, couple years, probably a good couple years at least. There's other ones like Open Door and a few other ones that do it here and there. And then over the course of the history of real estate, there's been investors, wholesale investors, regular investors. But I helped a lot of investor buyers over the years buy foreclosures. There's not many foreclosures out there now because of the moratorium and the fact that the prices have gone up. You should have equity. Most situations to sell or do whatever. So there's not many foreclosures. So Zillow's now not buying it. They were buying them, and the best way to say it, they were kind of overpaying in some cases. If you sold to Zillow, you probably could have sold for more off by putting it on the market, listing with a real estate agent. They still charged you 5 to 12% like listing convenience fee. So you weren't really saving commission, because you could say that's kind of like the commission. You were saving the fact that you had to get your house ready if you declutter or whatever you didn't want to do. And it seemed easier. Hey, I don't have to put it on the market. I got a sale. I can go buy the house. So some people didn't sell for as much. Some people probably actually sold for about as good as they can. And that became the problem. They were trying to get market share to get more people to work with them. And the numbers, when you have to staff, if anybody owns a business, staff, pay for the technology, all the tools, get the contractors out, the delay in getting them on the market, all that, they were going backwards big time, and the numbers weren't working. And if they lowered their prices anymore, none of you were going to use them, because you already most of the time shouldn't use them if you're about making the extra dollar. But then if they had to lower it and actually make money and be a profitable business, then they're out of the market anyway, right? So maybe that's a long-winded explanation. One of you can add on to what I just said.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah, go ahead. You go.
I was going to say one downside of like Zillow or Open Door purchasing those homes is that they have to be on the market for, I believe it's 90 days for certain loans to be accepted on the houses. So if you are using a government loan, like let's just FHA loan, for example, and you like this house that Zillow has purchased or Open Door has purchased, and they have not owned it for 90 days, you cannot use that loan on that house. So that's cutting your buyer percentage down as well. So, I mean, when it was spring and summer, I guess it really probably wasn't the end of the world for those Zillow purchases. But now when people are using FHA loans and they're still like looking for homes, and these homes haven't been on the market for 90 days, they're just sitting there. And it's a really big bummer I ran into it a few times when I was showing houses this summer, and like people wanting to go look at homes. If they had a FHA loan, it was like, well, we can't even purchase this one for 60 to 90 days. So I get that.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I noticed I sold a Zillow house last November, December, and they had put like new carpet in, they had repainted. So like a year ago during COVID, either they had more time or whatever they were doing. I'm not saying COVID's not going on. That's COVID last year. They had time to like make it nice. So you felt like if you weren't getting an inspection, they did a whole inspection, gave you the report. And then by the time I sold the Zillow house a couple months ago, they had not done anything. It looked not nice inside. They didn't care if you didn't do an inspection. It was like, and so you had to like pay for your own inspection. So they had done over that 12-month period till now, when they stopped doing it, they couldn't find people to do the work anymore, I suppose, right? And they couldn't keep up with what they were buying. And even to like get somebody out there to repair, they had Zillow certified repair people, probably like AAA repair people, right? It took forever to get them to do a repair now when they were trying to do it. So they got in over their heads. Let's just be honest.
Yep.
Their stock went from lower to really high to like way down again. So, so what does that mean for real estate? The good thing is that they couldn't keep up. They already knew that. And people were still using a ton of realtors. They were just using iBuyers, which means like they were trying to probably flood the market so that realtors would kind of become non-existent, but it didn't work so well. There was
a low percentage of transactions are the iBuyer or investors. They probably got the percentage up a little bit, but not really. In certain markets, like the down markets of the early, 2000, say 8 to 13 or something, there's a ton of investor buyers buying properties at low price. They became the investors higher into the market. Like anybody who knows like a little bit about this, there's still ones you can find and invest now. But if you're just trying to buy every house as an investment to gain market share and have a big overhead with, thousands or hundreds of thousands of employees and trying to make 2% because you're going to do so many houses, if anybody's ever bought a house for investment, how often does something come up that knocks 2 to 5% of what you thought you'd make right off like every house? There's almost any investor would tell you that you always find something you didn't think that knocks it down. So the thought process there was going big, which is good. You got to go big sometimes. And it didn't work. However, I would say this. Zillow does have a lot of the data because tons of people are on there. So I think what that tells me as somebody who's been doing this for a while is they think by the time they get caught up, the market would shift more and they'd really be out. I don't think they're worried about the next 6 months. I think, and we've been saying this for a long time, the market's not going down, right? It should be good. And if you look at the stuff I get and you two get, and maybe other people read or see, market appreciation is projected to be another 4 to 8% next year. Very good appreciation. However, people forget, and we talked about this before, that's like the whole year. I do think in a year from now, and I might not have thought this last time we did the broadcast or 6 months ago, this tells me they feel that we're going to hit that flattening, and flattening is going to seem like a downturn, and it's probably going to be a year from now. It's not going to drop off, but I think they're without telling people, they're telling people with all the data they have, they're probably thinking there's going to be like a big slowdown. And why would that be? The interest rates are going to start to go up. We've talked about this forever. Rates go up, less buying power, prices level out. That's clearly what's going to happen. What's propping the prices up now, and they'll stay up because this will go on for a while, is low inventory. But the rates go up, inventory might raise a little bit, less people will be able to afford what they can afford. Naturally, then the prices level off. And I think Zillow is like, gosh, we're losing money in a fast rising, higher end market. If we can't make money now, we're going to be like out of business in a year if we don't stop this. That's what it's telling me. Yeah.
So what you're saying is the market's going to flatten. I kind of feel like it's going to keep going up this spring, right? But I feel like it's kind of flattened right now. So if you were going to list it for 430 4 months ago and 430 now, you might have got 450, but now you're at 430.
Probably, yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah.
I do think, though, for the lack of inventory, most Novembers I'd be like, unless, should you sell them? I think if somebody called us right now or emailed us or whatever people do to list a house, like, I got it ready, I want to get it listed and whatever, I think you're fine. I think you're going to make what most people would have made. Do the lack of inventory. Yep, there's a few of those admiration type of ones that get bid up based on your style house, but you're probably going to list it and get it. Yep, it's not going to be a frenzy of showings and buyers. We're probably going to get it if the home shows like pretty good, shows good, whether it's staged or cleaned up. If it's not, if it's a little bit beat up, those will get beat up on the price more. But if it shows well, you're going to do totally fine. You could list right now and be fine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's because we got all these buyers like, when's the house going to come out that I can?
Oh my gosh. Like, that's the thing is I've got a lot of clients I'm working with, but it's like, I'm digging for houses, trying to find houses that don't exist. I'm sending out mailers for houses. Like, that just don't exist right now. Like,
that's a good segue into what Chuck and I thought we were going to talk about is, for sale by owner buyers and withheld listings and stuff like that. So digging into finding those other homes that aren't currently like necessarily on the open market. They're on for sale by owner, but I mean, some for sale by owners probably know how to list their home for sale by owner. Some put it on Facebook and hope that someone sees their house is for sale and come across it and buy it. Some will, everyone kind of does it a little bit differently, but I mean, that's kind of what I was doing this summer when I was getting beat out on offers, is I was digging the for sale by owner homes. So,
yeah, but no, that makes sense. Just trying to find what's out there.
Yeah, and I did a video on this a few days ago. I was at one of our withheld listings. A withheld listing means we've signed the listing. They don't want it on the market yet, or it's not ready to go on the market yet. And technically, we're not marketing to the world, but we could, if they wanted to do a transaction, could sell it. So we probably have, 3, 4, 5 withheld listings that are officially signed. Then we have some like, I think I'm listing next week, next month, March, whenever it is. Those aren't signed. They're just like people we know who might sell, right? So there is ways. So if you're somebody like, I can't find anything I like, can you help me find what I like? Michelle, I think you said you did like a mailer to a townhome, community because you had somebody looking to do it in there. That not Do people respond?
I was just gonna ask you, did you get any
A
feedback?
couple months ago when I did a different one person did, but no, not this one. But then it's also like I've been helping my buyers say like, oh, you really want to be here? Do you actually need to be there? You know, so it's kind of like, so we're not getting anything in response, nothing's coming up. Maybe you should start looking a little somewhere other place because maybe you're not supposed to be where you think you're supposed to be.
So, that could be true.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you're somebody who's like, I might sell in 6 months, a year, I might buy in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, it's good to reach out, obviously, to us and let us know, like, okay, they might be looking. Oh, that means you might be selling. And the more we know of like off-market potential listings, and then we get other people, we can go through, like our new database works a little bit better for this. We can go through there and like, who's our off-market potential listings that we've marked in our system? Oh, we got 39 people or whatever it might be. It could be more. It's probably more than that we have tagged. That doesn't mean they want to sell tomorrow, but let's say we've got somebody looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. I'll give you an example here. I just talked to somebody. They have a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, modified 2-story, just on the edge of St. Francis, 2.5 acres. They're like, hey, one sold around the corner for me just a few days ago. What did that sell for? I sent them the listing right before I got on the show. And the one that sold near to them was $415,000. They didn't seem to have a great idea of what the prices were going for, which can happen. So they reach out to us like they did. Their house would probably be worth a little bit more than that. But it's hard to find 2.5 acres, whatever, under 450, St. Francis, modified 2-story, 3-car garage. And if we ran a search right now, there'd be a couple listings out there. And somebody's already looked at them, but maybe they like this one. Or you're just browsing online, like, hey, I might buy one, but it's 6 months off. Those people would probably be fine 6 months off too. Like literally, we could work a sale if we matched up. We have to know what the people are looking for, and we have to know somebody might be looking to sell. And then we could say, here's what I think the price is. Here's what I think the price is. No, we want that for $325. That was a few years ago. Sorry, it's not going to work. Or you have to look somewhere else where that'd be $325. However, we'd have to know. You'd have to let us know. And then we mentioned like the for sale by owners. So for sale by owners, there's people that are willing to sell. They don't, maybe have a sign in their yard.
That's about it sometimes.
And they're not even on, say, Zillow. Maybe they're somewhere else. So not every for sale by owner is known about. And if it's on Zillow, here's what happens if you're a for sale by owner on Zillow, and you guys can chime in. If it's in a populated area close to the Twin Cities, you have 150 realtors calling you, pretending they have a buyer and they're the greatest agent ever and they'll sell your house. Would you like when you get the telemarketers that call you 4 times a day on this thing? What about if you had about 8 realtors calling you? Anyway, that would drive me nuts. So I personally wouldn't want to list for sale by owner just due to that.
We were talking about that the other day too, though. The chances of getting multiple offers and get your house bid up on a for sale by owner is like slim to none.
And how would you handle it correctly to get the right buyer if you've only done this once before, 0 times before? Your brother's an attorney and they know paperwork, but how would you actually get the best value and best buyer on your own? So as a for sale by owner, you think you're saving, the commission, let's say it's 6%, but then they have a buyer's agent. The buyer's agent is like, hey, I want 3.5%, 3%, 2.7%. Okay, I guess we'll offer that because it seems like that's what's going on. So now you're trying to save, 2 to 3% by not listing it. How much more money do you get in multiple offers and grabbing the right buyer and not answering 150 calls from people who don't have anything?
And be there when their showings are happening.
Yeah. So for most people, it's not worth doing for sale by owner. If you do a for sale by owner, we're not like opposed, like you shouldn't do it. Obviously, some of them sell, and they probably sell for top dollar.
We help people buy them.
Yep.
And sometimes, and we've helped the 2-3 buyers a year, every year, maybe 4 or 5 every year buy for sale by owner. we love when there's for sale by owners. There's no competition normally, and our buyers, get the closing costs paid for.
Yep, that happened this year a couple times.
Yep.
And if things go wrong, we're like, here's how you do it, and that's good. They listen. Not that a seller's agent or somebody else's seller doesn't listen. Like we love it because we know we're actually we're in real estate. For sale by owners not. So I think more often than not, what's for sale by owners don't realize, you're probably losing out 80% of the time. 20% of the time, you're probably doing fine.
Yeah.
So if you like losing 80% and winning 20%,
then do it.
You're a Vikings fan, you're a Timberwolves fan, you're in Minnesota, you're used to it, but it gets sickening after a while.
I want to tell the for sale by owners next time, if you want to lose 20%, you must be a Vikings fan. Because losing out about 20, you're losing about 80%.
And the other thing, often in a for sale by owner, it could seem like it's going well, and then the last minute of the game, you lose, which is basically what happens every Vikings game. Seems like it's going great. We're gonna win it. Oh, we just blew it.
Well, and I feel like not a lot of times. I mean, I don't know what percentages out of transactions at the last minute something goes wrong, and you don't know what to do. We do know what to do. If we don't, we ask Chuck.
And he knows what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. We ask our lawyer. So, if you're all by yourself, and I mean, if you're a lawyer, you're probably not a real estate lawyer. So, how do you know what to do? You just take it as a loss and you move on and just be done, because at this point you're stressed. Or you
get stubborn thinking you're getting screwed and make a bad decision. So you just need somebody to bounce it off. And again, this isn't, you should never sell for sale by owner. Just as if you think it's a great idea because you're saving tons of money and then you stumble across this video and you listen to it, basically you would rather it's for most people, it's very painful. It doesn't even make sense. And you don't even get more money in the end. You're doing your math thinking you are, but you're not. But it can work. But what we're actually saying, that's one way to find listings for people. Like I said, the withheld listings. We got the withheld listings and the people we know might be listing. That's another way. But we have to know you're looking. And then coming soon listings, those are ones that are going to be on the market soon that you can't see. I think a lot of people are caught on to that, but there's still some confusion. Hey, I want to go see this one. Well, it's on the market November 20th, so we got to wait until then.
Yeah, I think once you start working with somebody, they catch on that, okay, when it comes on the market, I want to see this at 8 a.m. Yeah. I mean, and for a bit, we saw a few people during the hot market, make a sight unseen offer, but I don't really see that anymore. Now you just want to go look at it because you probably don't have a ton of competition, which is good. I mean, so I don't know. I look at it as going back to a little bit of the for sale by owner thing is I mean, we get this feedback a lot. Why would I pay you, let's just say 6% when I can do it on my own? It's kind of why do you pay interest on your car loan? Why do you pay the guy to fix your car because you can't fix it yourself, right? You want your car to be working so your world works fine, right? So you want your realtor to help you so your world works fine. And I think most of the time the stress that sellers and buyers have is all on themselves. It's all overthinking, just we overthink on everything every day as well. So I just think the more you hold back on helping other people grow, you're not really probably growing either, unless you're have this fantasy of listing your house for sale by owner or something. But I don't know. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, in general, I think what you're saying, if you circulate to the economy circulates back to you. You're going to be fine financially. It probably, in the end, actually, if you could somehow do it for sale by owner with the realtor and in the same house, you're going to most of the time work out better net when you have a realtor. But even when you don't, it's the same or a little bit less, or you think you're losing that money, you're circulating into the economy, which the economy will circulate back to you and your profession, your future endeavors, your investments. You can never lose when you're operating in the current, in the proper flow and way of doing something. most people don't even think about that. If I bring up this idea, like, oh, that's a new idea, I never heard of it, or he sounds weird, but no, that's how it works.
He sounds weird. I know this because I'm looking to buy a car and I just pull up and, some of the car salesmen are chasing you down. So I feel like when I'm in listing appointments, I feel like there's got to be some people that are like chasing you down, like super selly, like I'm going to sell your house no matter what. And then you get all stressed out. Like, I actually talked to a salesman. He's only been doing it for like 3 months. And I thought, oh, it sounds like Michaela, like he seemed fine. He's trying to figure stuff out. And then the ones that are doing it, and I'm not saying everybody, but I feel like the ones that do it sometimes for like 25 years are just like chasing you down. Like, I don't know, just you don't know how to communicate with people. I don't even know how you're still doing it this long. Like sometimes it's just stuff they say. So it's kind of weird. So I get how people have like resistance, but so.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Chuck, are you there?
I'm here. I'm letting you guys have awkward pauses to see if you guys come up with anything.
Why are you looking at me weird?
He's frozen in time.
I'm not frozen.
He's actually listening to us? Oh, that's weird. Oh, yeah, I was going to break. So I have a closing today. And I, like you were talking about, I helped this person for, almost over a year, been looking for a property. And the one day it came on, I was like, oh my God, we got to look at this right now. And we looked at it and he bought it. So super happy. But like what Chuck was saying, like, if you don't tell us you're looking, we can't help you. Go have fun.
That's true.
So,
and like, if you're
if you tell us you're looking, but you're like kind of looking,
yeah,
really fine. Just browse around, keep in touch with us. If you're seriously looking, we got to go show that house right now.
No.
But I think people think if they tell us they might be looking in like 2 years and it happens to be a year, like we're going to super stock them like 7 times a week. And I'm like, no, I don't know. That's not how it works.
Initially, Anna on our website might super stock you until we figure out the settings. But
yeah. But if you yell at Anna, it won't hurt our feelings. So
no. It's kind of like when we answer a Zillow call and they're like, what's his name? Alex is telling, I'm like, Alex is a computer.
Yeah. Oh, I already gave all my information to that guy. Just give it to me again.
So you give it to Alex, you give it to Stacy, you give it to Anna.
Yeah.
You're either worn out or like, okay, I never want to call anybody else again. I'll just stick with these guys.
Yeah. It's true.
That's funny. I like that.
Just in case you go on our website and set up a search, Anna is going to ask you about your needs and quickly assess where you're at. And you can respond to Anna. And she's smarter than some people out there.
You know what else it's the time of year of? When people are moving across the country or moving one way or the other. I think you have at least 1 or 2 people you're looking with that are moving out of state. I have 1 or 2 people that are moving in or out of state. And Stacey doesn't. But like, I feel like that's the time of year too. So you got to remind people that we can help you in Florida and Minnesota. And actually, we can help
Wisconsin.
Yes, that's what I'm going to say. Actually, we can help you anywhere. And I swear by this. If you let me help you find a realtor and your realtor down there is wherever it is not good, I'll find you another one. You go find some person on your own. You have not a second person like staying on them, making sure they're good. So regardless of if they're good or not, I don't refer somebody and don't stay on them. So any state, we can refer to you in any state, but we can't personally help you in any state. So,
I mean, if it depends on the state. If you're like, I am adamant about buying a house in Hawaii and you want to go look, I'll get my license in Hawaii and we'll go travel there and stay for a couple weeks and find you a house. Like, I'll volunteer that right now.
It's easier said than done. I mean, I have my Florida license and it's like, can I see this house? I'm like, yep, I work with a realtor down there and she'll help you. So it's kind of cool, like that I have one that I work right alongside, but it's not like if you're not living there, Wisconsin's fine, but Florida's like, so, but it's good that I have somebody that is really good that can help him at the same time. So, I think, and then I talked to a couple of lenders recently. I think everyone in the real estate lending type business is at the time where it's like now the holidays and it's like, okay, it's time to reach out to everybody and ask them to meet for coffee.
Oh, funny.
Chuck's rolling his eyes. And I'm like,
Or a Zoom. They'll do a Zoom with you.
We'll do a Zoom with you.
Like I have 0 other lenders and I hate them all.
Yeah.
No, I get it. No, I totally understand.
I get it too. How did we find the lenders that we have right now? We found them from accepting some kind of invite, but I feel like I don't accept many. It's got to be like the vibe or I won't even accept them. But it's kind of like they were asking me too, like, how busy is it? I'm like, I did write an offer. I wrote an offer the other day for Barbara, somebody she's working with, but I don't think I wrote an offer in a month.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we are very effective and efficient. So whenever we're not just like swamped, it's like, oh, I can breathe.
I know, that's what I was saying. I'm like addicted to it.
Breathe. This is amazing.
I know. It's weird. It's like an addiction. Like if I'm not at my computer working, I don't know what to do. Like
was getting stressed yesterday. I was like, oh my God, we're spending too much money because I was paying bills and credit card bills. We're spending way too much money. Where can we cut costs? And I was texting Eric and I was like, I think it's the time of year where I'm not running around doing showings and appointments and stuff. So like my brain goes to other things.
Yeah, you didn't care how much you were spending when you were running around all over the place. Regardless if you're actually probably selling more or helping people buy and sell houses more right now than you might have been 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You just had time to think about it now.
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing. I actually have time to think.
So some people are like, oh, nobody does anything November, December, whatever, January, February. November in Minnesota, typically, at least in our life and doing real estate, and some people might have the greatest November, December, January ever. Typically, our November, February probably do about 50 to 60% as many transactions as we do in like these other months, which is normal. Mm-hmm. It's just when you have those busy months and you're doing twice as much, you're typically handling 6 times as much to do the twice as much. But this time of year, pretty much the most serious, dedicated people are out there. So you're almost like you're doing 6 times less chasing. So it's like, this is weird, but you're still doing a decent amount of business. So not to confuse people, there's still a good amount of business happening. It's just not as frenzied, which is okay. We need a little bit of a breather here and there.
Yeah, no, I just think we're actually real honest people. Some of them out there are not. So
cool. We've been at this 52 minutes.
We're just yapping at this point.
We are
yapping.
I think we're lonely, you guys.
No, Dad's still here, I think.
He must have fallen asleep.
We're just having a team meeting while nobody's watching us. Yeah.
Well, I was telling Chuck, Eric got a new job. So up until like a month ago, he worked from home. And now he can't work from home. So like I'm by myself all day, every day, which is a blessing and a curse because I get more done, obviously, because we're not like chatting in between like meetings or whatever we both have going on. But it's kind of lonely.
Well, and the kids are gone. So it's like you're all by yourself.
I know.
I know. That's kind of weird.
Take a nap, Stacy. Take a nap.
Yep.
Take a nap.
I know. Maybe. Just don't tell me that.
Just go to the office, then you'll get more done for sure. When I go to the office, I'm like, boom, 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 bam, boom.
You're right, but then like I see people I haven't seen in a while, so then you water cooler talk for 25 minutes, and I don't know.
Just be like me. Don't be friendly. Just go.
Yeah.
I saw you at a meeting, or not a meeting. The one guy had been in real estate like 30 years or whatever.
John's
Chuck.
30th anniversary at RE/MAX, I think.
Did you go, Chuck?
What?
I saw you there, Chuck.
I was there. I went to mingle with some of the originals.
I was going to, and then I forgot about it, and then I saw it on Facebook. I was like, oh, whoops.
I don't even think he knows who I am, so.
John? I'm sure he does.
No,
maybe he couldn't pick you out of a crowd, but.
If I walked in, he'd be like, oh, yeah, it must be Chuck's sister. Yeah. Dad says he's still here. Thank you, Dad. Oh my God!
I don't
so
know.
Now you'll see us.
Those emoji faces. It's like he's concerned.
That's how Dad is. Now you'll see us every week, Dad, because now it'll be like into the holiday season where everyone's like stressed about buying presents and stuff. We're just like, hey, we're over here. No,
yeah,
maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
That's what happened. That's how we started this. We did it every week because it was COVID and we were like bored.
We needed something. Yep.
Michelle easily gets bored, I guess.
Maybe we should do like a trivia or something like that to get people interactive and we can give away stuff. I don't know.
Hey, we
We
did that
used
in the
to do that.
beginning.
I know we did.
Like 23 weeks ago, we did that.
I know.
23
23
shows.
episodes ago.
So Stacy is voting to bring back trivia and prizes.
Whatever brings people back.
I think if we plan one out a little bit farther, like we're doing one noon Sunday or 7 p.m. Sunday, which will probably
But you know when that happens, then one of us is always out doing
Mhm.
something else, and then you're like, well, it's me, Chuck, here today. Or no, we have to get threats for like, Chuck's like, you wanted to do a live and now you're not on here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm very threatening.
He's scary.
Every week, Lori wants us to be back every week.
I think she's done for the
I'm
prizes.
Oh,
And
Still.
every week, maybe.
prizes are fun. It's a
Yep.
holiday season. It's a
Yeah.
holiday season. No?
Sounds good. We could do something like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know, Michelle.
It's all good. I'm going to wrap this up.
Okay. We
you
could just
guys-
go on for like an hour and a half here. I mean,
Yapping.
If Michelle checks her email, I gave her admin privileges. She could take over the broadcast now going forward.
Oh my God.
But up until now, I'm the only one that can run master control production.
That's okay.
That's good. That's what we like.
All right. So I think it was episode 23, might have been 24, depending on math. Either way, thank you for watching, listening, watching the replay, listen to the replay on what's happening in Minnesota real estate and then in our lives for the Carstensen team. We'll at least have one more. We'll have like a holiday giveaway one. Yeah, that's a good idea, Stacy. I like
We
your
used to
idea.
do lots of giveaways
Yeah.
on Facebook and stuff.
we did. We haven't done anything in a while.
That's what we'll do. We'll make an actual plan though.
Okay.
We'll do that. All right.
Maybe we could wear ugly sweaters too.
Ugly sweater.
Yes.
I don't know if I have them.
Reindeer ears.
Elf ears.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. We're done.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.